In the 2021 local government elections in Limpopo has reached 97%. The IEC expects to announce a final result later today. Our journalist Pimani Baloyi is at the Provincial Results Centre in Polokwane to give us an update on this. She'll be chatting to political analyst Elvis Masoga. A very good morning to you, Pimani.
Good morning, Desiree, and good morning to our viewers at home. Desiree, as you were just mentioning, there's just about 2% of counting that is outstanding here in Limpopo, with the IEC working very hard to ensure that they reach that 100% mark. Desiree, as I stated earlier, the biggest challenge that the IEC says it's having right now is in rural municipalities, remote municipalities, where they are facing connectivity challenges, which is delaying their scanning, capturing and auditing processes in terms of their result slips. But as things stand right now, with about 2% outstanding, the ANC is leading the pack with just over 68% of the voter support that was gotten in the province, with the EFF following behind with just over 14% of the voter support, and the DA being number 3 with just over 5% as well. The smaller parties just got 0.something percentage of the voter support in the province. But as you mentioned, Desiree, we are joined by political analyst Mr. Elvis Masoga to speak more about this. Mr. Masoga, it appears, we're talking right there, it appears the status quo remains in this election in the province.
Yeah, absolutely correct. But remember, Limpopo province in terms of politics, it's a very unique province as compared to the other provinces in the country, because you find a situation whereby the status quo prevails. Like in 2016, the ANC won a particular municipalities, and even right now, based on the current results from the IEC, it is quite clear that the status quo will prevail. The ANC is still in a very dominant position to retain control of the municipalities that it was controlling in the 2016 municipal elections. But what is very much interesting, there's an evolution of a new trend when it comes to official opposition. The EFF so powerfully is dislodging the Democratic Alliance from the position of official opposition. It has even doubled the very same seats in municipal council that it had. So judging by the situation, gone are the days when the Democratic Alliance will dominate, official opposition politics in the province. That's exactly what you can say. The two hung municipalities, you remember in 2016, Modimolle, Mokopong and Tabazimbi were the only two hung municipalities in the province. It's still the same. It's like history repeating itself. But as to Modimolle, Mokopong, we are not quite sure whether will the ANC get 50% plus 1, or maybe it will need 1 or 2 other smaller parties, to can come in so that it can govern. But in Tabazimbi, it is quite clear that a group of political parties has to coalesce and form a coalition government.
And Mr. Masoga, speaking about the status quo, speaking about the ANC and how it performed, and the EFF as well, can we attribute this performance to the low numbers of people who turned up? The EFF seems to be popular with the younger people, and the statistics that we are seeing are showing us that, not as many young people went and participated. Can we say this attributed to this result?
Like I said, in Limpopo, there's this unique and special trend of politics. You find a situation whereby the EFF is growing substantially, not at the expense of the ANC, but at the expense of the Democratic Alliance. Because like I said, even in terms of general elections, the ANC support hasn't been declining significantly in Limpopo. Only the DA support has been declining, but there's an upward trend when it comes to the electoral strength of the EFF. So the simple implication is that the EFF is growing in Limpopo at the expense of the Democratic Alliance. And that's exactly what is happening, whether you like it or not. But in other provinces, you find a situation whereby other smaller parties are growing at the expense of the ANC, but not in Limpopo.
But let's talk about the EFF further. The EFF had dedicated a lot of resources to this province specifically. They were confident that they would take Polokwane. Much as you're talking about them growing stronger, it's not as strong as they thought they would.
Yeah, but remember, it's when it comes to the Democratic Alliance, I think, their new to me, a new dangerous strategy, the fight back, strategy, whereby, to me, the decision that the DF has taken at national, and it's having some, collateral implications, provincially, whereby they are no longer opening up the Democratic Alliance to be a political home for all people. After they, got rid of the former leader, Mmusi Maimane, it was quite clear that the DA is retreating back into colonial politics. So many people, particularly, they were trying to appeal to the black African constituency. So given the decision that they've taken against some black politicians in the DA, there's a general perception in South Africa that the DA is becoming another Freedom Front Plus, appealing to the exclusive white minority interest. And to a large extent, the black populace that used to support the Democratic Alliance are now shifting their allegiance to other political parties. That is exactly what is happening to the DA.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masoga. That is political analyst Mr. Elvis Masoga telling us that there shouldn't be much that we should expect in terms of the difference between this year's local government election in comparison to 2016 local government elections in Limpopo, whereas we are waiting for the 2% of the result counting to be completed in the province. But right now, I'll hand back to you, Desiree.
Well, thank you so much, Pimani, for giving us a look at developments in Limpopo.